Here are today's headlines. The Armed Forces of the Philippines vows to respect human rights as the Supreme Court upholds again martial law in Mindanao. PHIVOLCS says it may lower the alert level around Mayon volcano as it shows decreased activity. President Duterte hosts a dinner for over 200 former rebels. And Davao City seeks to be declared as the cacao and chocolate capital of the Philippines. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The military vowed to respect human rights as it maintains peace and order in Mindanao following the Supreme Court's decision upholding military rule in the region. Here is our report.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines assured the public that it would perform its security duties in the war-torn region with respect to human rights and international humanitarian law. The AFP made a statement in response to the Supreme Court's decision upholding the constitutionality of the year-long martial law extension in Mindanao. Spokesperson Colonel Edgar Arevalo said the AFP is grateful to the SC for allowing the military to perform the fresh mandate given by the President and by Congress. Martial law in Mindanao was declared on May 23, 2017 following an attack by Maute group of terrorists in Marawi City. Congress, in a special joint session in July, granted the extension of martial law until December 31, 2017 at the President's request. The Senate and the House of Representatives, convening in a joint session early December last year, granted President Rodrigo Duterte's request for the extension of martial law and the suspension of the privilege of writ of habeas corpus for a period of 1 year from January 1 to December 31, 2018. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana echoed the AFP's remarks while stressing that the SC ruling will now enable the government to pursue its efforts in ending the continuing rebellion in Mindanao decisively. With this, Lorenzana assured that troops will strive harder in performing their duties to safeguard public safety in Mindanao and provide necessary assistance to Task Force Bangon Marawi to facilitate the unhampered rehabilitation of the war-torn city. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Bench Bondo.
As the Mayon volcano continues to quiet down, the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, is considering lowering the alert level in the affected areas of Albay. PHIVOLCS resident volcanologist Ed Laguerta said, the country's most active volcano has been seen to be calming down in the last 24 hours. Scientists, however, have yet to find conclusive proof that the volcano's restiveness is indeed weakening. Laguerta said that Alert Level 4 remains in place within the 8-kilometer extended danger buffer zone. Laguerta is not discounting the possibility of a hazardous eruption similar to what happened in 1984 when the volcano was quiet for 1 week before a violent eruption. PHIVOLCS strongly cautions the public from going into the 8-kilometer radius danger zone and be on the lookout for pyroclastic density currents, lahar, and sediment-laden stream flows. Vice President Leni Robredo is ready to withdraw her own motions related to the electoral protest of opponent Bongbong Marcos. Here is our report.
The camp of Vice President Leni Robredo refused to sign the pleading signed by former Senator Bongbong Marcos, indicating the withdrawal of all pending motions in connection with the electoral protest before the Presidential Electoral Tribunal, or PET. Romulo Macalintal, Robredo's lead counsel, said Marcos signed a joint manifestation indicating the withdrawal of motions, but the Robredo camp was insisting on signing a joint motion. Macalintal had taken this as a sign that the Marcos camp is bluffing. Macalintal earlier accused Marcos of delaying the recount by raising baseless allegations and irrelevant issues. In a recent press conference, Marcos said he was ready to withdraw his motions so as to stop the bickering from both camps. At the same time, the vice presidential candidate bared evidence of massive fraud that transpired during the May 2016 elections. Marcos particularly questioned the presence of square shapes in the ballot images instead of the oval shapes which voters shaded for their choice of candidates. Robredo, however, slammed Marcos's claims of massive fraud. Macalental also said Marcos's claims of discrepancies in the hundreds of decrypted ballot images from Camarines Sur and Negros Oriental only showed that the latter's protest is facing its dismissal. Marcos earlier sought the annulment of about 1 million votes cast in Llano del Sur, Basilan, and Maguindanao. Robredo won the vice presidential race with about 260,000 votes more than Marcos. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
The Philippines' inflation rate hit 4% in January 2018, the upper end of the government's 2017 to 2019 target and the highest after the 4.3% in October of 2014. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Governor Nestor Espinilla said the uptick was expected given the central bank's 3.5 to 4% target for the month. Last month's inflation rate is a big jump from the December 2017's 3.3% and the 2.7% in January 2017. The central bank chief attributed the faster rate of price increases to a combination of factors that include the first-round effects for the first package of the train law. Despite being temporary drivers of inflation, Espinilla said BSP will closely monitor the situation and stand ready to take timely action. Finance Secretary Carlo Dominguez III also said he has to look at the figures closely to check if the faster inflation rate last January was partly due to the implementation of the tax reform. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources turned over a new patrol boat to the Coast Guard in Davao Oriental to boost the protection of aquatic resources in the province. Here is our report.
The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources formally turned over a brand new patrol boat to the Philippine Coast Guard based in the city of Mati, Davao Oriental. BFAR Regional Director Fatma Idris said the new patrol boat will be used to help secure local fishing grounds from illegal commercial fishing operators and drive away encroaching illegal fishing vessels. BFAR National Director Commodore Eduardo Ngongona said the economy loses 40 billion pesos annually due to illegal fishing, making the protection and conservation of fisheries and aquatic resources a top priority. Assistant Bureau Director Alfeo Piloton noted that local government units are also encouraged to advocate for local measures to protect the ocean, such as the reactivation of the Bantay Dagat program to further secure Davao Oriental's aquatic resources. He assured the Bureau's support in terms of trainings and capacity building to ensure development, management, and conservation of the fishery and aquatic resources. Governor Nelson Dayang Hirang was grateful for the new equipment, which he said would help not only in securing the province's fishing territory, but also in guarding the province's aquatic resources for the present and future generations. Aside from the new patrol boat, BFAR also handed over 10 units of deep-sea water payaw or fish aggregating device to the LGUs. Davao Oriental has the region's longest coastline of 513 kilometers with a teeming source of fishery and aquatic resources. Having the advantage of being located along the Tuna Highway, Davao Oriental has great potential for investment in marine and fishery development. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Still to come, the Supreme Court junks a petition to clarify how Congress will vote on charter change. Chinese businessmen commit to pour in 4 billion pesos worth of investments in Cotabato City. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Sa super bilis ng pag-issue ng lahat ng regulatory approvals na kailangan para ma-launch natin ngayong araw ang Overseas Filipino Bank.
Isa sa mga pangako ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte ay ang pagtatayo ng bangko para sa mga overseas Filipino workers.
Mga kababayan ko, I made simple promises during the election. But I would just like to remind you that I kept my campaign very simple I am very happy that mukhang naibigay ko sa inyo.
Nitong January 18, 2018, nasaksihan na ng mga itinuturing na bagong bayani ng ating bayan ang katuparan ng pangako ng ating mahal na Pangulo. Pinangunahan ni Pangulong Duterte kasama sina Land Bank President and CEO Alex Buenaventura at iba pang cabinet officials. Ang opisyal na pagbubukas ng Overseas Filipino Bank o ang OF Bank na matatagpuan sa Liwasang Bonifacio sa Maynila. Ipinaliwanag ni OF Bank Chairman Alex Buenaventura ang magiging papel ng bangko para sa mga OFW.
Ang Overseas Filipino Bank po ay nag-develop ng 15 produkto at serbisyo na atin pong tinilor fit sa mga pangangailangan pambangko ng mga overseas Filipinos.
Inisa-isa rin niya ang mga produkto at serbisyo ng OF Bank.
OF Bank lang po ang bangko sa Pilipinas na maraming savings, loans, investments at payments, products at services para sa mga overseas Filipinos.
The Supreme Court dismissed a petition seeking to clarify conflicting positions in connection with the move to amend the 1987 Constitution to pave the way for a federal form of government. SC spokesman Theodore Tess said the High Tribunal unanimously dismissed the petition for declaratory relief filed by law professor Arturo de Castro. The court held that it had no original jurisdiction over declaratory relief actions, as such jurisdiction belongs to the regional trial court. It pointed out that the petition sought an advisory opinion from the court on the manner of voting of Congress in amending the Constitution. It said the court's actual role, however, was to settle actual controversies. In his 11-page petition for declaratory relief, De Castro asked the High Court to answer whether the votes of the Senate and the House of Representatives would be counted separately or jointly to determine the 3/4 majority. The petition stemmed from the Senate's refusal to heed the call of the House of Representatives for a joint constituent assembly to propose revision of the Constitution to shift from unitary to federal system of government. The Philippines joined more than 100 countries which observe Safer Internet Day to promote better and safer internet use for everyone, particularly children. President Rodrigo Duterte signed the proclamation number 417, declaring the second Tuesday of February every year as Safer Internet Day for Children Philippines. Under the Anti-Child Pornography Act of 2009, the government is tasked to guarantee the protection of every child from all forms of neglect, cruelty, and other conditions that harm his or her development. The Interagency Council Against Child Pornography shall coordinate with the National Youth Commission, Presidential Communications Operations Office, and other concerned agencies in promoting the observance of the Safer Internet Day for Children Philippines. The Safer Internet Day was first introduced in various countries in Europe in 2004 and is currently being observed by more than 100 countries to raise awareness on online issues faced by children. According to US-based social media management platform Hootsuite, the Philippines now has 67 million internet users, reportedly all of them active on social media. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index and the peso continued to shed points on Tuesday as investors sold off risky investments in global equities. PSEI shed 65.58 points, which a trader said was expected given the same trend overseas. The trader said that drop in the local equities market was broad-based, tracking counterparts overseas on concerns in Wall Street. On Monday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average shed 4.6%, the biggest decline since August 2011 or during the European debt crisis. Nasdaq, meanwhile, shed 3.8% and S&P 500 fell by 4.1%. All indices in the local equities market also finished on the red, with the broader all shares losing 42.51 points, along with the mining and oil sector leading losers with 2.18%. Meanwhile, the local currency closed at 51 pesos and 46 centavos against the dollar from 51.51 Monday. A trader said the peso remained firm amid effects by the exporter's decision to take advantage of the strengthening dollar. The government plans to further promote organic farming by producing and distributing over 1,000 organic crop seeds to interested farmers. Here is our report.
The Bureau of Plant Industry is planning to produce 1,725 kilograms of organic crop seeds this year to be distributed for free to interested growers nationwide. This year's production target covers 500 kilograms of corn seeds, 300 kilograms of certified lowland vegetable seeds, 900 kilograms of potato seeds, and 25 kilograms of semi-temperate vegetable seeds. Even people in calamity areas may request organic seeds if they want to plant and grow them. Aside from corn and potato seeds, the BPI also aims to produce eggplant, upo, patola, pechay, carrot, lettuce, and radish seeds. The organic seeds will be produced in agricultural centers in Baguio City, Davao City, Guimaras, Los Baños in Laguna, and La Granja in Negros Occidental. The Bureau's stocks of organic seeds do not last long due to increasing demand from growers. They are also pesticide-free but at the same time prone to pest attacks. Apart from ensuring availability of quality seeds, part of the Bureau's tasks are ensuring the safety of plant food, development of crop farming technologies, and safeguarding the country's plant industry. Earlier, the BPI reported investing in certified organic farms producing seeds of cereals, legumes, lowland vegetables, and semi-temperate crops, aside from setting up a certified organic orchard for tropical fruits. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Mundo.
Chinese investors are set to pour in some 4 billion pesos worth of investments in Cotabato City this year. The 5-man visiting investment team from the Chinese Engineering Construction Company, or CECC, signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Mayor Francis Cynthia Giani Sayadi. Under the MOU, the CECC would invest and finance projects for continuous development, while the city government provides the necessary assistance and information through a technical working group. Among the investments eyed under a public-private partnership scheme include a modern airport, seaport, and a sports complex. New road networks serving the new mega projects are also in the pipeline. The construction of the city airport and seaport is expected to be the biggest projects by far that a foreign company would be undertaking in this part of the country. Local businessmen have also expressed enthusiasm on the projects, citing the proposed undertakings would boost the growing economy of the city. Up next, President Duterte hosts a dinner for over 200 former rebels. Davao City seeks to be declared as the cacao and chocolate capital of the Philippines. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns.
Ang ika-4 na kambalingan ay tuloy sa mga barangay ng Kilala, Paridi, Bunganga, Ambalong, Boto Ambalong at Tuka Ambalong na bumalik sa kanilang mga komunidad sa Marawi City. Mahigit kumulang 2,000 individual ay pinayagang umuwi pagkatapos ng 9 na buwan sa mga evacuation center at iba pang mga lugar na kanlungan o tinutuluyan. Sa kabila ng mga pagkaantala mula sa ipinanukalang schedule dahil sa mga kadahilan ng pangseguridad, ang mga evacuees ay sabik upang makita ang kanilang mga tahanan muli. May kabuuang 30 barangay ang nakabalik sa kanilang mga komunidad dahil sa kambalingan. Isang termino ng Maranao para sa homecoming ay nagsimula noong Oktubre 2017. Ang 36 na barangay ay pinahihintulutan na bumalik sa Marawi matapos ang kasalukuyang homecoming ng 6 na barangay. Ang pagbalik ng natitirang 36 na barangay ay mabilis na sinubaybayan ng lokal na pamahalaan, Department of Social Welfare and Development at Task Force Bangon Marawi. Ipinaliwanag ng TFBM na bago ang homecoming ng mga IDP, ang LGU ay nagsasagawa ng mapping ng komunidad. Ang resulta nito ay naitala sa database ng DSWD. Ang proseso ay karaniwang tumatagal sa 5 araw sa 1 linggo upang matapos. Ang mga bumalik na evacuees ay tatanggap ng mga food pack ng pamilya at cash assistance na nakakahalaga ng 5,000 piso mula sa DSWD sa araw pagkatapos ng kanilang homecoming. Ang tulong ay ibinigay upang payagan ang mga pamilya na bigyan ng oras upang ipagpatuloy ang kanilang mga negosyo o kabuhayan. Ang LGU, DSWD at TFBM ay nagnanais na tapusin ang kambalingan ng natitirang 36 na barangay. Ang kanilang target ay upang pahintulutan ang mga evacuees na umuwi bago magsimula ang rehabilitasyon at muling pagtatayo ng pinaka-apektadong lugar o MAA ngayong taon. Para sa Bayan, Sweet Lukman, Philippine Information Agency.
President Rodrigo Duterte hosted a dinner for 217 former communist rebels who surrendered to the government. The former rebels were flown in an all-expense trip to Manila from Davao City. Aside from the dinner with the president, they joined an educational tour in Intramuros, Malacañang, and other historic places. Also part of the trip was a visit to the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, to observe the mushroom production and other farms in Bulacan to get livelihood ideas. The group is part of the 683 former members of the New People's Army who surrendered to the Armed Forces of the Philippines in 2017. Major Ezra Balagtay, spokesperson of the AFP Eastmancom, said the dinner is meant to encourage the active participation of the former rebels in nation-building and peace efforts. 2 more batches of former communist rebels are also set to dine with Duterte on a later date. Several companies from the European Union have shown interest in investing in the healthcare sector in the Philippines. The companies are seen to support the Duterte administration's healthcare programs. Here's our report.
Some 40 companies from the European Union are set to visit the Philippines in the 3rd quarter of the year. Walter Van Hattem, head of the EU delegation to the Philippines Economic and Trade Section, said European companies would like to take the opportunities in the Philippines with the growing demand in the healthcare sector. The 2017 advocacy paper of the EU-Philippines Business Network cited the healthcare industry as a high-priority sector. It was noted that the country was largely dependent on imports for its medical supplies, importing 100% of medical equipment and 65% of medical disposables. The local production of medical equipment here is limited to prototype unit, spare parts, and disposables such as gloves and syringes. The advocacy paper also said health-related firms could support the Duterte administration's goals to develop health infrastructure, implement immunization programs, and provide quality innovative medicine through public-private partnership model. EU also sees potential in the Philippine healthcare sector as the government strengthens its health expenditure. The administration allocated over 107 billion pesos as health budget under the 2018 General Appropriations Act. Meanwhile, EU Ambassador to the Philippines, Franz Jessen, also told PNA that the EU wanted to see more exchanges of visit between the 2 parties to further strengthen trade and investment ties among European and Filipino companies. A Philippine business delegation is visiting Hungary this week to promote manufacturing subsectors of machineries, medical devices, automotive parts, aerospace, pharmaceuticals, food and agribusiness, infrastructure, and shared service. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Philippine National Police Chief Ronald De La Rosa on Tuesday formally led the ceremony relieving the Special Action Force Battalion tasked to secure the new Bilibid prison with another SAF unit. De La Rosa assured the public that members of the relieving battalion had no previous duty on the NBP in Muntinlupa. This was done to prevent familiarization with high-profile inmates. De La Rosa said the relieving SAF team was headed by Chief Inspector Christopher Mendoza, who saw action in the 5-month battle to liberate Marawi City from Maute Group terrorists. A SAF battalion is usually relieved from NBP duty every 4 months. Staff Head Director Noli Talio said the previous contingent had been on NBP duty for the last 6 months. Davao City is aiming to be known as the cacao and chocolate capital of the Philippines. The City Council highlighted the importance of cacao as both a product and industry. Here's our report.
Davao City is taking a claim to the title of Cacao and Chocolate Capital of the Philippines. The Davao City Council on Tuesday passed a resolution requesting Senator Cynthia Villar, Chair of Senate Committee on Agriculture and Food, for the city's declaration. Agriculture and Food Committee Chair Marisa Salvador Abella said the declaration would help cacao farmers in advancing their income, create jobs, livelihood, and spur tourism and other economic activities in the city. The city is home to the multi-awarded Malagos chocolate, a single fine-flavored chocolate which garnered 2 local and 8 international awards, including one of the best 50 in the world. It is also home to the first and only chocolate museum in the country, which features the best of the city's cacao industry. The Department of Tourism launched Davao Chocolate Tour Overload, an educational tour that highlights the transformation of cacao fruit into chocolate. The Philippine Statistics Authority reported 80% of the total cacao production in the country is sourced from the Davao region, and approximately 30% of it comes from the city. Abella said cacao production in the Davao region has been increasing with an average growth of at least 6% annually from 2010 to 2016. The city had more than 30 chocolate processors and 6,000 cacao farmers, planting approximately 3,475 hectares of land. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Philippine Cervantes.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country.
The Department of Foreign Affairs confirmed that the Filipina is missing after a 6.4 magnitude earthquake struck Hualien County in Taiwan. A team from Manila Economic and Cultural Office in Taiwan, led by Labor Attaché Cesar Chavez, is now deployed to personally check on the condition of Filipinos in the area. MECO Chair Lito Banayo said the initial on-site report of Chavez was that authorities are still searching the area where the Filipina caretaker was working. At least 4 establishments were reported to have caved in and tilted dangerously. No Filipinos were injured or reported dead so far. According to Raul Dado, Executive Director for the DFA Office of Migrant Workers Affairs, there are over 130,000 overseas Filipino workers in Taiwan as of latest data submitted to Congress. 4 were confirmed dead, 145 people were missing, and 225 were injured following the deadly quake which struck the popular Taiwanese city. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondo.
Here's another look at today's headlines. The Armed Forces of the Philippines vows to respect human rights as the Supreme Court upholds again martial law in Mindanao. PHIVOC says it may lower the alert level around Mayon volcano as it shows decreased activity. President Duterte hosts a dinner for over 200 former rebels. And Davao City seeks to be declared as the cacao and chocolate capital of the Philippines. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and all that it is doing for the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And remember, communication is the best way to solve any form of conflict, whether great or small. And that's your daily dose of the hottest news and the latest information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm William Theo. Good day.